it's unfortunate that the issue has been attempted to be twisted when I made the statement. I was not the one who raised this issue. I was talking in the context that I was being accused of trying to prevent members of the opposition from livelihood. And that was the fundamental basis. And I gave several examples of people in the opposition at high up whom I certainly have given okay to when asked, because I don't know that the government has to be involved in every single job that you try to get. If you are a really skilled person, you don't have to depend on the government. When I was in opposition, Lou, I didn't depend on the government of the day to agree to a job. My skills gave me jobs. I left here once in Washington, worked as a consultant, made some money, and came back home and did my job as opposition leader and also as a parliamentarian. So let's get that straight. But the second point, I made the point. The first thing, I was shocked to see that a person who just recently had the most powerful position in the country. I think everyone knows Brother Burke was actually the leader of the government at the time. Brother Tillman was a figurehead. Everybody knew that. And he ran the government as a one-man show. Everybody knows this. If you cross the Minister of Finance, then you crossed the government, period. So I was surprised when asked that this individual is now trying to leave the country and leave his political organization. And I said, well, this is right now the person who is the leader of the opposition party in Grenada, assumed to be the leadership party. And therefore, I thought it would be unwise to leave the opposition party leaderless. And I didn't think I wanted to hurt the NDC in that way.
But why?
Because
seeking employment.
Lou, I made a conscious decision. You may not agree with it, but I felt we wanted to see a too strong political organization in the country. The man had the most powerful position in the opposition party, and I felt it would be unfair to the opposition. It may be good for the NNP. But I am not thinking of the NNP. I'm thinking what's best for the opposition and for democracy in the country as a whole. So I told them, no, they could have employed him. By the way, Lou, they asked me for my recommendation. I said I didn't think I could hurt the opposition by giving support. That did not mean that they could not employ him. They could have gone ahead. If he was that qualified candidate, an excellent candidate, he wouldn't need me to get him a job. Right. And the gentleman is a lawyer. I mean, I would have thought that any good lawyer in the country who is at that position of almost powerful leader in the country would be able to get jobs. Peter David was in opposition, and he's out in court making his two pence, so to speak. And therefore, any good lawyer should be able to function effectively. I don't know that because you could not get a job with the Secretariat of the Commonwealth that I did not endorse. That means you should starve when you're a lawyer? That means you're not competent. It worries me that someone who wants to occupy the leadership of the country doesn't feel confident enough to go to court and represent his client and make money. You have lawyers out there who are not any serious position in any political organization who are doing extremely well. I would suggest to Brother Burke to go to court and represent peace people and to make his contribution to the legal profession and any other job. But I don't think Carl gave okay to one job that he wanted, and they could have gone ahead and employed him if they wanted him so badly, that he should be so aggrieved of me. No, but I want to make another point, and that's where it becomes interesting. Mr. Burke and his gratuity. I think it's interesting. I brought the statistics here because I want to show something. I think it's very important. We came into government in 2013. We were under a structural adjustment program. So indicated that no parliamentarian can get his gratuity until the public servants whom the NDC signed on to for back pay get theirs. So therefore, it took us time before we could pay the public servant back pay. So in other words, it would have been immoral and unfair for them to proceed to pay parliamentarians, including myself, the gratuity owed me and others, and not pay the public servants. So we agree after we've paid the public servants and there was some room, financial room in the system, we'll start to pay. But the condition was each of us must meet our tax responsibility to the country first. You can't owe the government taxes and still end up getting money from government while you still owe. That does not make any sense. Any institution operates like that will be in trouble. So, look at the facts here. Alan Walker got his over $71,000 in July 2014. Ann Peters got $73,000 plus in August 31st, 2014. Clarice Modest got $13,000 in 2016. Elvin Nimrod got the same amount, $13,516. Franca Bernardine started getting paid in December 19, 2014. The same Franca Bernardine that's making noise today. And she got $71,000 plus dollars, not the 13 that Clarice Modest got, and she got it way back in 2016, just recently. Gladys Roberts got over $68,000. Glenn Noel, $73,000. December 9th, he started getting paid in 2014. Gladys Roberts, August 19, 2013, she started getting money. Joan Purcell, $29,000 plus, October 16, 2015. Keith Mitchell, $34,000, October 16th, 2016. No member of the present government got paid until 2016, even the Prime Minister then and Minister of Finance. But members of the opposition got paid since 2013. Some of them got some monies in 2013, 2014.
But would that 2030, the period when the government, the NDC would have been that short, the first part of the...
No, that would be later part. What I say.
But let me ask, what control they had in terms of payments being made? The same people who received, the former ministers you've mentioned, who received gratuities and that...
What I said was they started getting paid at that time. What would have happened, some people came forward to the permanent secretary and others and claimed they had serious financial problems. And therefore, while they know that we couldn't afford to pay them all, give them something to go over the hump, so to speak. And we did it. But most of them, all of them were opposition members.
So therefore you're saying that they should not be making any noises.
Well, they were the ones who got money first. But you know what is significant, and I want to make this point. The Accountant General literally had to say, almost refused to pay members of the government. And we had to literally dictate that they be paid because they had no tax liability, while many members of the opposition were paid. Now, the only reason Mr. Burke wrote the Minister of Finance, that myself, he wrote me asking for relief on the fact that he did not pay. Now, there's another point to this. I would love to understand how someone could be Minister of Finance in a country. You have tax liabilities with your family for 2014, 2012, and 2011, and you didn't pay, and you call in others to pay? I can't understand this. And when the penalties are imposed on the gentleman, he writes me as Minister of Finance asking for relief. And within a week or so, he got a letter from me giving him over $30,000 in relief. And this is the same man Brother Burke is calling a wicked man. And I find it strange, Lou. And the only reason was I said to the ministry, pay the people as long as they meet the tax liability. And I in fact thought he was paid until I found out later that he owed more than he in fact had to get. And he owed the government $5,000 plus. Now, Mr. Burke is now challenging the calculation. These officers now doing the calculation are the same officers that were working with Mr. Burke before. And he's challenging, could you go in the United States and challenge the IRS and its calculation? And I sometimes didn't agree with the Ministry of Finance when I was in opposition, or when now, as Prime Minister, I don't necessarily agree with them. But they are the ones who are doing the law, implementing the law and the tax system. And I certainly paid my dues. I have never owed the Ministry of Finance, and I believe I have probably more properties than Mr. Burke has identified for himself to pay property tax on. And each time I receive some sort of relief based on the fact that I pay early. I have never owed a cent. How could a man be minister and owing, not paying tax, while he expects other people to pay their taxes? If I was Mr. Burke, I would have been the last person to raise the issue of taxes, knowing that I did not pay my fair share to the taxpayers. And you know what is worse? The same Minister of Finance, when he was building his house, I mean, we have to talk about this. Reduce the VAT on building material at the time he was building a house. And as soon as the house is finished, he brought the VAT up again. What sort of selfishness is this for a man who wants to be leader of a country and who was Minister of Finance? I have a problem, Lou. And I wish Brother Buck, and I really feel sorry for Brother Buck. I really feel that he should not have brought this up, because if he hadn't brought it up, I would not have been seeing that tonight.
Okay, but we'd agree, though, that doesn't each taxpayer have a right and whatever charges?
You can challenge, but when the facts are presented, you have to pay. You can't do your own calculation, when in fact the law gives the controller and the persons the responsibility. As long as there is not a wrong calculation, he's challenging the basis upon which you do the tax calculation. Mr. Buck must realize he's not the controller of England Revenue, he's not the tax persons, and he must meet his fundamental responsibility to the taxpayers of this country.
Okay, we've taken